Well, hey everybody, this is Don from Wizard Tower Games. Thanks for tuning in. As you can see, to my right is Mr. David Flor. Um, I made a mistake the other day. Said his picture was a mouse. It's not a mouse.
It's a
It's a
rabbit.
it's a rabbit.
That happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
But the mysterious David Flor in the flesh, and I will certify this is really him. It's not a body double. Dave, thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for coming
This
on.
is this is live. This. Yeah.
Yep. This is as light as you get, man.
I don't do this often, so.
Yep. So basically, what we wanted to do today is we wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of joint projects we're working on. David we're putting out a role playing game called Atomic Age. It's a post apocalyptic role playing game. I'm going to be doing the artwork for it, and of course, everybody knows about ZONK. I talk about it enough online, and David has been good enough. He's going to be doing the lion's share of the coding on it. He's basically taken a very bland a game that I thought was something special at first until he's done just his basic stuff now, and he's made it 100 times better. So we're going to talk about both projects. Yeah, Kim, he has a face. I know. Isn't it amazing?
This is AI. This is AI, man.
It's AI. Yeah. So basically,
and I'll show this now that we're live. I'll show it to the audience.
There it is.
The Egon stand up. So yeah.
Yep. But basically, the whole purpose of tonight's video is we want to talk about Atomic Age, David's upcoming role-playing game that he's going to be doing a Kickstarter around here pretty soon. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the artwork for it, and then also be taking and talking about ZONK. So as we go, if anybody wants to have any questions, feel free to break in, answer them. Me and David will answer them best we can. But basically, David, I'll drop it off to you real quick. Tell a little bit about Atomic Age. What is it? Give the overview of it.
Well, some very quick background. For some people may know, like 12 years ago, I did a Gamma World project because Mike Mearls on a Reddit AMA said that Gamma World was part of the SRD, which it is not. So I published a Gamma World project, and Wizards of the Coast sent me a cease and desist to not do that. But as a result, I wanted to create Gamma World content, and I wasn't able to legally. There was no license to do that. So I started to create my own role-playing game. It was originally based on Atomic Age, 13th Age, in the Archmage engine. And I had a version of that, and then I started to realize that, I'm going to make my own RPG, with blackjack and hookers, as some people say.
Yep.
And I started to take out some of the things that bothered me about Atomic Age, change some of the mechanics, and it became a whole new thing. And it's not so much Gamma World anymore. I like Gamma World because it does, the weird, the zany stuff. But what I've ended up creating is a little more. I like to compare it more to like Mad Max sort of thing. It's more gritty, and like in real life, I'm a software architect and a game designer, so I tend to favor stuff that's very crunchy and very strong on mechanics. If you're looking for a rules light game, this ain't it. So yeah, and I've been literally working on it for like 12 years, and I think it's about time that it actually sees the light of day.
Now, what's the core system on it? Is it D20 based? Is it
it's D20? It's D20 based. It's primarily based on, like I said, it's still. I like to say it's like 70% Archmage engine. Like the character, the classes are all kind of the same mechanic. 10 levels max. Class features, and each class is functionally different. I got rid of some 13th Age has things like a lot of stuff that's like integral to the game. Like icons are very involved in the game. They're a very big thing. And the one unique thing, those are kind of hard to process because they're really vague. So I like, and also 13th Age, for example, doesn't have skills.
Yeah.
So I took that as a basis, and I added a lot of stuff from 4th edition. Well, from 5th edition. I added skills. I added some other mechanics. I took the Bane and Boon dice rolling system from Shadow of the Demon Lord, and I've been cobbling it together. Just it hasn't been play tested. Not many people have seen it, so I'm hoping to remedy that real soon.
Now, when are you planning on having the Kickstarter up and running?
Well, I was hoping to do it by the end of February, but I mean, the fact that we're already in February, it's not the sort of thing I want to rush. So, okay, that's
Jim Wobbler says, so then my first question is, why haven't I asked David to write up a preview of Atomic Age for an issue of a Scientific Barbarian yet? Well, Jim, David, here you go.
I would be more than happy to do that. As part of the lead up to the Kickstarter, one of the things that I'm working on is I want to put together a quick start guide. Right now, I have the core. The intent is that there are going to be 2 primary books: the core manual, which is both for DMs and players alike, and then the bestiary. And as far as stretch goals, I'm planning at least 3 adventures for stretch goals for now, and there'll probably be more stuff. And I want to do like a 10-page quick start to like introduce why this thing is a thing. And I'd be more than happy to do something for Scientific Barbarian.
And just let some people know also about my end of it is I'm doing the artwork for it. So it is going to be black and white interior. Me and David talked about it. We're going to do a little bit of an old school feel with the black and white. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, David, but by doing black and white also, it allows us to get the game down to a lower price point.
Yeah.
That's
the plan.
That's a win right there, I think.
And part of the reason why it's been languishing for 12 years is because although I can write mechanics all day, I am not an artist. I can't draw a decent square at gunpoint. So that's always been a concern in the back of my mind. That what am I going to do about art? And recently, I've asked a bunch of people. I've been doing spreadsheets for budgeting because one thing I absolutely do not want to do is I don't want to run a Kickstarter and be in the red. And now we're getting closer and closer to it being a reality.
Yeah, like we've got I did some primary cover work for it already. We had a meeting just the other day on the phone where we talked extensively about artwork for it. We kind of have a little bit of better of a plan down for it. So, I mean, I've seen a copy. David, of course, gave me a copy of it because I'm doing the art for it. And as a gamer, and I'm not just doing dandelion fluff here, bullshitting anybody. It's a really good system. I mean, it's a cool game. And Tom Veralt from Tabletop Taproom will tell you that he's the big Star Frontiers guy. I'm a big Gamma World guy. I love Gamma World. And for those out there, hi Tammy. And for those out there who are into Gamma World or that real gritty post-apocalyptic, just real rough feel, type gritty game, this is a real good game. Tammy says, straight from our first quarantine for COVID. Hello. Yeah, Tammy and Tom have COVID, the big C. Well, the second big C, let's put it that way. Kim Winston says, can I donate artwork? May feature parodies of certain people.
I am not. I have no intent of parodying anybody. The only extent that I did of parody is a disclaimer at the bottom of the credits, which I have since removed, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, come on! You mean you don't have a Don Merchant who has stinky underwear and who does bad things to customers?
Nope. I can't bring myself to do that. As much as I would want to, I can't bring myself to do that.
I actually feel kind of proud, but you know what, David? You know what? One day you'll make a list too. Don't worry.
Not for lack of trying. I mean, what does it take? You guys get on these lists so easily.
I know.
God.
If Eric Tenkar is here, man, we'd have like the entire. We got Kim Winston, we got Tammy here, we got Jim, we got Tom. I mean, boy, Tabletop Reporting, Tom Veralt's new. By the way, Tabletop Reporting used to be Tabletop Taproom for those of you who follow it. Tom kind of rebranded it, kind of fit more in with his vibe. Says a hangover from tequila would be more fun than COVID.
I've had it once. Not pleasant.
Yeah. Now, for those of you also, just kind of let you guys know something. Basically, what's going on here is David is actually also, for those of you who know about ZONK, Wizard Tower Games, online, very simple text-based adventure. And David is now involved in it. And I must say that it is going to be light years ahead of where my humble ideas came from. The work he's done already on it is absolutely stupendous. What do we got so far, David? We got the ability to have, we're working on inventory now.
We have rooms. We have rooms. We have different scenarios. I call them scenarios.
Yep.
Rooms, inventory. We have monsters to a point. Encounter
Combat.
management, combat,
Yep.
victory and death situations.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it's coming along beautifully.
And it's funny, a lot of the stuff. I mean, my background is that, like I mentioned to you, I mean, I started my path to game development. I'm actually my day job is video game development.
Mhm.
Started with games like Zork, like Wizardry.
Yeah.
I'm theming a lot of how the game functions on Wizardry and
Mhm.
that style as well, and the Zork, going to room and searching, short of writing a text parser, which I've actually done before.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool project, and
Yeah.
I just want to see it and see how it turns out.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I have to say, working with you has been so far just as smooth as can be. I mean, you're really easy to get along with. Um, you know, I like working with you in the sense that you're like me. You just want to get to the core of it. Let's figure out what we need to do. Let's get it done. Let's implement it and move forward and such. Now, uh, question for you, David. You said that the core manual now for your Atomic Age,
Hmm.
um, basically the player's content and the game master's content is one manual. Why'd you do that?
Um, Primarily, honestly, because 13th Age did it.
Hmm.
I one of the mindsets I always had is I like the notion of a single book, because I always had the sensation that when you separate the two books, it's with the intent that players will own the player book and DMs will own the DM's book,
Hmm.
which usually means that you have to duplicate a lot of stuff between the two books. I don't want. I'm not a fan of having to state certain rules twice.
Yeah.
So I put them all in one book, and it still follows a lot of the 13th Age design. Like, the first two chapters are character creation. I don't even talk setting yet. I go straight into character development,
Hmm.
then running the game, then combat, then like setting is like like the last thing in the book.
Hmm.
And I'm also going to include the adventure that was cease and desisted by Wizards of the Coast, which is the adventure called Fire from the Sky.
Hmm.
I'm going to include that as at the end of the core manual as like an introductory adventure.
Now, are you going to have a? I mean, it takes place on Earth, correct?
Yes,
Are you going
it's
to have
the
a
intent is
campaign setting?
the intent is the setting as I have it now. It's the continental United States after an undisclosed apocalypse. I left it kind of wide open. If whatever you feel like created the end of the world, have it your way. And there were originally icons, but now I refer to them as the powers that be. There's 9, I think, um, icon like entities in the world, in the United States. From a warlord to a merchant prince to
Hmm.
a sentient AI. Um, there's like the architect, a magistrate in the northeast, and they're all like grouped in. There's a talking tree. There's a sentient tree in the northwest, and they all form in their own independent regions. So basically, you divide up the United States into these separate regions,
Hmm.
and they're all governed by a one or more of these powers that be. And that's what I have so far.
Now, an idea I have, just kind of throw out there. Maybe people in the audience watching this can kind of give some input and their thoughts on this. But you said that you kind of leave what happened kind of open ended. Um, ever thought about maybe, I don't know, maybe making like a list and maybe some brief scenarios of what could have possibly have happened? So
Well,
like,
by certain design of the powers that be, there are some things that are kind of alluded to.
mhm.
There's a sentient AI that lives in Cheyenne Mountain called they just
Ah,
it's referred to as the network.
mhm.
So whether you want to go full on Skynet with that thing or not, that's your choice.
Gotcha.
There is a plague of insects with a sentient insect queen called the brood mother in the
Oh,
northern Midwest. There is the reptile king in the southeast.
southeast, yeah.
I made Florida full on swamp with
Does it wear does it
um,
wear flip flops?
yeah, and it's all regional. So like, there's a swamp to the southeast. The great tree, which is a sentient tree, is in the
Hmm.
Pacific Northwest. The architect and the network are in in the Pacific Southeast.
Hmm.
The center of the country is kind of wasteland. That's where the whole Mad Max concept came in,
Gotcha.
where I have two powers that be. One is the warlord, which is the typical Mad Max bad guy,
Hmm.
and then Mad Max himself is represented by another power to be called the Wanderer.
Gotcha.
And which one am I missing? Northeast is the magistrate, which is kind of, I like to compare that to more toward Walking Dead / Last of Us sort of
I
thing,
was about to say,
where there
yeah,
is a certain level of civilization that they're trying to cobble together.
yeah. He gave that kind of that vibe of that guy. I forget his name, but he carries the bat with the
Yeah,
barbed wire on it.
Negan, was it?
Negan, is
Yeah.
that it?
Um,
Yeah,
I didn't go that explicit. I didn't give him a
yeah.
bat or anything, but those are stuff. My honestly, my like I said before, I can write mechanics all day. I'm a computer science mathematics major, game developer, so I can write rules all day. When it comes to
Hmm.
writing lore, it is very hard for me usually. It takes me a long time to put together. To the extent in which one of the things that I'm considering for this is probably third partying a lot of the larger lore writing that may need to be done.
Now, so,
Hiring
mm,
actual writers.
either that or a suggestion is do a call out for people to, um, we did it for Lair of the Kobold King when we were trying to find writers um, for our one book project that we were going to do. It's a game project called One Shots. So we just did, we were thinking, we were literally thinking we were going to have 10 or 15 people submit an idea. We just said, do a 100-word prompt for Lair of the Kobold King. You do whatever you want. And I'm not joking, David. I mean, within a week, we had over 200 now. We're at over 200, and it just got flooded with people. And just we're not using their storyline, but maybe the idea is to publicly source it and say, hey, if you want to go ahead and write lore for it, here's the guidelines. You can submit. We'll put your name in the book. A lot of aspiring writers are looking to get their name published, and just the idea of getting their name published helps them because of course they want their name published, and or reach out to local community colleges.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have several in your area that um, and reach out to them and say, your writing courses, your advanced writing courses, we'd like to partner with you and have your students do lore writing for this game. That's an idea kind of throw at you.
Yeah, and part of the thing why I want to outsource it a lot um, is this set in the entire United States. And yes, I
Hmm.
am very familiar with the southeastern United States. But
Hmm.
if I have to write a whole section about what it's like in the Pacific Northwest, I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable doing that.
Hmm.
And I don't want to guess and get things wrong in that regard. So I will need,
Hmm.
um, do my research or have somebody who's actually more familiar with that uh, assist.
Yeah.
And I know I have a lot of friends that are writers. My best friend is actually a Hugo and Nebula nominee.
Oh, nice.
So that's sitting. I don't want to bother them that much because they have their own things, but that's always an option
Mm-hmm.
that I may one day decide to pursue.
Mm-hmm. Now, question for you. We talked a little bit about the setting and everything. Now, you have classes within the book, correct?
Yes, there are 6, 7, I think.
What are a few of the classes? Tell a little bit about them.
I have Channeler, which is basically the wizard.
Mm-hmm.
That and let me list the classes. There's a Channeler,
Mm-hmm.
Engineer, which is the tech guy, a Scion, which is the psionics guy, Marauder, which is basically a barbarian, Scout, which is scout slash rogue slash something,
Mm-hmm.
Veteran is the fighter, and I think that's it. Am I missing one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's it.
Now,
And
what's your
sorry.
favorite class?
I like the not big favorites. I haven't play tested this a lot. I haven't like I mean I've actually written like simulators for some of the, like when I was worried about monster balancing, I actually wrote mathematical simulators to make sure encounters are balanced and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how tech I could be sometimes. As far as favorite class, I like some of the aspects of like the engineer and the scion classes, which are basically effectively spellcasters,
Mm-hmm.
and it uses a lot of the 13th age mechanics. Basically, give me one second.
Oh, you're fine.
Sorry about that. Basically, spells come in 5 tiers, 5 levels,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of it. That's if you're familiar with how wizards and sorcerers work in 13th age, it's kind of that. What is my most favorite part of this game that sets it apart? Um, it's kind of hard to answer that because it's a funny thing because for a while I wrote the system and I wrote the classes uh, with wanting it to be something, and it ended up being something else.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while I wasn't sure what to do with it. I mean, I'd created this thing, but I wasn't. Is this something people want? Is this something that works? I mean, it's probably horribly unbalanced in some aspects. Are the mechanics broken? I don't know. So the reason why it's been in development for 12 years is because I'd say a good 10 of those was mostly a lot of self-doubt
Mm-hmm.
and not entirely sure, what I was going to make of it. It's it just kind of flowed. I mean, the idea is this, it's effectively a memory dump. Will there
Mm-hmm.
be giant bunnies with guns? There is a Lepus Maximus. There is a giant rabbit. Um, a lot of the monster design is inspired by Gamma World. There's a lot of there's like a whole. I have 5 pages on humanoid soldiers, but there's also giant rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tentacle monster. There's a Fire from the Sky has a cow with a pump action shotgun. Um,
And by the way, that's true.
yeah, Ma Bill.
Ma
That's that.
Bell
There's actually a cow a cow that stands on its 2 hind legs
with
with
a
a pump
12 gauge
with a
pump.
pump action shotgun, and
Yeah.
she has two hog grenadiers that back her up.
I
That's the
wasn't going to bring those up. You know what I mean? I thought you just bring them up.
um yeah, that was a weird. It starts off the Fire from the Sky, which is the one that got cease and desist. It starts off down to earth. Something crashed, and then you basically investigate it, and that's where there's a tentacle monster in it at the end, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you go with that. But yeah, that was a fun thing. I really enjoyed it. It really bothered me that I couldn't do anything with it. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
Wizards sent me a cease and desist saying, "Pull this product. This product never existed, or we will sue you into the ground. And
Yeah.
unlike other people, I know I can take a hint, and
You
I will.
know, when you receive a cease and desist on a game, number one, from the largest game company in the world, number two, who has a history defending their IP, you don't send it back to them written in purple crayon across it. F you, go ahead.
Full confession. Full confession. I received cease and desists from Wizards of the Coast, from Lucasfilm, and from Penny Arcade. Those are my big three. I've received three separate cease and desists, and of the three, the Wizards of the Coast one terrified me like you could not possibly imagine. I literally received it the week before I went to Gen Con. This was Gen Con 2010, I think. And I didn't know what to do. I somehow thought in my head that I could go to Gen Con, talk to somebody at Wizards of the Coast about it. But that's just not how it works.
No, no.
I'm like I'm here confronting people from Wizards of the Coast, and they're like, dude, I can't help you.
Yeah,
But yeah, I could take a hint. They said,
yeah,
this product needs to go away, or things will get ugly. And I'm like, okay, the product is gone,
yep.
and we never spoke about it again.
Now, see, I used to do model building
Mm.
for customers, collectors, and I received a C&D from Lucasfilms, which I was actually flattered for getting. But I'll tell you one that scared the shit out of me was when I got one from Disney. When I got the
yeah.
C&D from Disney, I mean, when I opened that up and read that, my butt cheeks clenched. I mean, I was like, oh boy.
My
And
sister's an attorney for Disney. She was formerly Fox
yeah,
Broadcasting, and then Disney bought Fox, so she became a
yep.
Disney employee. And yeah,
Yeah, Disney is legendary. There's a saying in the garage model building community that don't F with the mouse. And if you get a letter from the mouse, run. Don't
Oh yeah.
walk to your computer and pull it down. You better run to that computer and rip the hard drive out of it because they do not play.
And I've mentioned to her some of the legal issues that some of us. I don't want to touch
Yeah.
that subject.
Oh, you're fine.
And she's like, if they ever
Yeah.
involve you in it, she'll be more than happy to tear them a new one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they will be. Everybody else will be tamed by comparison. They are ruthless.
Yeah. Disney is notorious for they've in the model building aspect of it. They have went after several model builders for stepping on Star Wars IP.
Disney has gone after daycares.
Yeah, and they don't back down
they put Mickey Mouse on a wall, and Disney sued a daycare.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and they don't settle out of court either. They will go out once they implement and they
Mm-hmm.
dedicate the funds to you. You might as well just go ahead and close down and file bankruptcy because they're not stopping until you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Tabletop Reporting says Jackson Form, the Star Wars comic, anthropomorphic bunny with two blasters.
That is most definitely on the table. The only rabbit monster that I have is the giant rabbit. Because it's part of one of the adventures that I have planned.
Mm-hmm.
But there is, maybe make that a stretch goal. You want a stretch goal to have more armed rabbits? I'm sure we can arrange that.
And also within ZONK, we could add some very fun stuff. Now they're not going to have blasters. Maybe they have dual handheld crossbows or something. But you know what? I am all for ticked off lactating cows with dual crossbows.
Well, one of the things I mentioned to you as I was doing the implementation of ZONK is I thought, I could take one of my adventures and put it in here. And so yeah, that is most definitely a possibility.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned that, and I'm to me, I think that what I believe in is team effort is what always wins the day. I mean, naturally, and I'm talking as far as ZONK goes, is of course I have my idea, and I had my idea for it. But once you became involved, David, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of the video, I really mean this when I want to tell people about working with you. Is you really have an ability to just take ideas and bring them down to their core component and really make them presentable and doable. And you have good ideas. And what I like about working with you, and we've only worked with each other now for about a month, is I I'm a firm believer that yes, I have my ideas, and I think that everyone thinks they have good ideas. But what I love is when someone can tell me, you know, here's your idea, but why don't we instead go this route? And you know, you have always listened to me. You're really easy to get along with. I mean, you're really laid back, and I know people think online you're real laid back, you know, but the thing is, you are really laid back. And what I like, and again, what I like about working with you is you're easy to work with because you listen. You really listen. I think that's your game design background
That could very
from
well be
working
it.
with teams.
Yeah.
But
Um, yeah. I mean, I've been a developer for uh, hold on. Okay, sorry, I'm getting texted by somebody. I mean, I've been video game development for 9 years, but I've been software for over 40. So,
now,
um,
dumb question. What are some of the, I know some projects you have NDAs on, but what are some of the notable projects that you've worked on that you're proud of that you can talk about?
for my day job, I can't tell you a single one.
Okay.
We have released. I think the only thing that I'm authorized to say is we have released approximately 180 games in the last 9 years,
Hmm.
and that's really all I could say. Um,
Well, you've worked on 180 games you're proud of then, right?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, we have very tight schedules. We production cycles in most of our games is just a couple of months, and we got like 6 games going on at the same time. Um, I'm responsible. I do legacy support, so I support all our old games
Hmm.
because I'm the longest. I'm one of the longest people here, so I basically know them all.
Gotcha.
Uh, oh boy. But yeah, no, you're right. I've worked in teams on as and independent all the time. I've worked in freelance for a bit. I've had numerous companies of my own.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Local 433 Gumby brings up something really interesting, and that is tattoos. Now, I know a little bit about them. I got a few. But the thing is, what's really interesting about this is he is right. Disney did go after this guy for tattoos. But did you know, Gumby, that he lost, that Disney lost? That tattoos are considered fan art, and you can have Star Wars tattoos and Indiana Jones tattoos and that type of stuff. Kim Winston just posted, says it gets more complicated with branding, etc. There's an adult actress who had to wear socks because she had Disney characters tattooed on her ankles. Hey Kim, I think that's because in a movie, in her dramatic role, um, I believe that that's a form of advertising, wouldn't it be? I don't know. I'm not up on porn and tattoos and that type of stuff, but um, yeah, maybe you need permission. I don't know. Kim says also tattoos are considered fine art because you can't publish them. But so basically, David, real quick about a little bit about Zonk, um, to kind of give people an overview of what we're basically doing with it is the original idea behind Zonk was what we were going to do is we were going to make it similar to taking Zork and Endless Quest books and kind of mixing them. Real simple, really straightforward. Well, David got involved, and now what we're going to have is we're going to have where you can do combat. Your hit points are automatically tracked. You can take things like healing potions and heal your damage. David's just began an inventory system to where you can have inventory slots. We were talking about that right before we went live. Along with that, also is we're going to be doing, and we're kind of loose on this right now. We were just talking about it on the phone where what happens if you're in the middle of a dungeon or a castle or a city, and let's say the phone rings and you got to go take off. How do you save your game? How do you keep yourself at that point? So David's going to be implementing some features there to help kind of uh, help people, stop, start back at a save point. Maybe you can explain a little bit about that, Dave. You were talking about it.
Yeah, what are the regarding? Sorry, I got distracted.
We're talking about saving where you're at. Like if you're in the middle of an adventure, what happens if you need to stop the game? I mean, you don't want to start over.
Okay, yeah. Right now, the game maintains state. I mean, there is a database behind it. So if you, wherever you are, you can leave, you can close the browser, come back in, and right back where you left off.
Yep.
We've been discussing what happens if you once you're in an adventure, you can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So let's say, what happens if you I don't want to finish this adventure anymore. So one of the things that I was suggesting is one of my inspirations, Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, which was one of my first video games, where if you exit the game and you're not in town, your character is basically dead or lost.
Yeah.
And then we can provide an option that if you want to recover that character, it'll revert to the state at which you were in before you entered the dungeon. And we kind of have that in place. I mean, it's all database driven, so it's kind of there. So
yeah.
But yeah, we haven't done anything definitive yet on that, so I am open to further suggestions. So
absolutely. And if anybody has suggestions regarding the game or something like that, you can go ahead and drop me a PM on the Wizard Tower Games Facebook page, or you can drop an email at info@wizardtowergames.com and say, hey, I have an idea. Happy to hear from you. But besides that, what now? When are you planning on having the Kickstarter? When are you anticipating having the Kickstarter ballpark begin for Atomic Age?
I was thinking of doing it last month I was thinking of doing it by the end of February. I do not want to rush it, so I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to do it soon. Right now, mid to late March, I would say.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Now, are you planning on doing just a standard 21 or 30-day Kickstarter?
Probably 30-day.
Okay, 30-day Kickstarter.
And we say Kickstarter, but it'll probably be doing it on BackerKit.
Backer.
And I have been in discussions with some of the people at BackerKit regarding advertising, because promotion is basically what will
huge,
make or break a game, a thing like this. And as it stands now, advertising is 10 to 15% of your budget, and we're probably looking at the last time I think I had a funding goal of like a 40K or 50K. So it's a big project, and I want to get it right.
Yeah. Now, along with you're going to have the core rule book. Are you going to have a monster manual or critter catalog or something?
Yes. The two main things is the core manual and the bestiary, the monster manual, if you will.
Okay.
What I'm intending right now is as stretch goals. I have 3 adventures planned. The Fortress of Dr. Neb, which is a very Gamma World adventure. That's the one that has a giant rabbit. A tournament adventure, if you will, like one of these, basically a Tomb of Horror / White Plum Mountain type of adventure called Where Worlds Collide. And third one is the Caves of Steel, which I have very little information on. I just like the title.
Gotcha. Okay, so core manual, bestiary, and 2 or 3 game modules go along with it.
That's what I'm planning.
Gotcha. Okay, and then the as far as something like a campaign setting, it's just going to be kind of more open ended. Let players develop their own content for themselves.
If the closest thing to a ugh, campaign setting would be the latter part of the core book,
Gotcha.
which right now
Okay.
we have like I don't know 20, 30 pages, give or take. Right now the core book is
Mm,
around 220 pages,
20 pages. Yeah.
and the bestiary right now is at 200 pages. But the bestiary needs
Hmm.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
So the core manual I'd say is about I don't know 70. You tell me 70%, 80% written, give or take.
From what I've read, I'd probably say it's a solid 70, 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right
And
around there.
and the bestiary I have all the stat blocks, but like there's zero lore, there's and a lot of
Yeah,
the,
zero lore.
you look at the stat blocks and a lot of them are still 13th age.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you pulled heavily from 13th age on it, also then.
well, I
But
mean,
it.
I literally wrote the whole thing in. I mean, I had a version that was fully 13th age by
Okay.
entirely. The powers that be were actually icons,
Hmm.
and then eventually I decided to not do that.
Hmm.
So there's still some. I mean, I haven't gotten to everything.
Gotcha.
And like you look at the core book right now, like the one of the chapter on equipment is like 90% 13th age. That doesn't make any
Gotcha.
sense.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean, the thing is the Kickstarter is going to be going live here in the next month or so, roughly ish, ballpark, within the next couple months, most likely. We've got other than that, I mean, it's pretty much we're slogging along on them both. I'm in the middle of doing your artwork for it. I'm gonna be throwing a little bit of color at you because we're gonna be doing the color for the covers, and then I've already sent you tentative black and white, kind of giving you my style and everything. You're happy with that. We got baseline coding going in ZONK. Um, you know, Other than that, I mean, I think that those are the projects we got rolling. And, as we begin to develop more and as we begin to get more, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to be releasing more information. I'm hoping within the next month or so, I'm going to start doing some short video examples of kind of like the rough state that we kind of have it in as we start getting more artwork in it, more stuff into it, and more further developed. But other than that, we've been at this almost 45 minutes. I think we've kind of filled everybody in on what we need to fill them in on so far. Um, you have anything
And I
else you
have
want to add?
no. I mean, one thing I do a lot is I have a lot of projects on the go. So
Yep.
I in addition to what we just discussed, I'm still trying to fulfill 2 Kickstarters if I can get around to them.
Hmm.
I have a lot of other pet projects. I have 2 personal video games that are in production. One of
Hmm.
them is a side scroller shooter. The other one is a full on RPG. Uh, I have my campaign setting, The Coming Dark, which hopefully going to finish publishing at some
Now,
point.
real quick, your campaign setting, The Coming Dark, is that a D&D 5e
Yes,
compatible?
yes.
Excellent, excellent. What?
And I did chapter 1 was kickstarted already and published.
Hmm.
I have chapter 2s and 3 plotted out.
Hmm.
I was originally going to make them 3 separate products, but then I said screw it, and I'm piling it all into one, and it's about I don't know 60% done.
Good deal.
It's just getting around to it.
Well, good.
So
Well, it sounds like we're both very similar. We're very busy. We're stretched all over the place.
hmm
Um, but yeah, so what we'll do is this is we like to keep this right around an hour. We're a little bit short on an hour, but I think we've kind of like burned into everything that we need to go ahead and go into.
hmm
We're gonna Wizard Tower Games, like I said, within the next month or so, is going to start releasing a little bit some video snippets of a little bit of the mechanics that are happening behind the scenes as we get them a little bit further developed. And with your permission, we're going to go ahead and release probably little bits and pieces of Atomic Age. Thank you, local 433 Gumby. Appreciate that. And yeah, you'll be hearing a lot from both me and David on both projects as they start getting more further developed.
yeah,
Um,
I had originally released. I mean, I have like a Patreon with like one person on it, and
mhm,
I'd released like I think I released like the engineer class on Patreon at one
yeah.
point, but that was when it was still 13th age. So
Yeah.
a lot has changed since then. So I am actively going to. I'm one of the things on my very long to-do list is start putting together the quick start as well as some consumable aspects of
Gotcha.
bits and pieces so that people can
Yep.
start getting a feel for it.
Well, good deal.
So
Yeah, Kim, we look forward to actually releasing more info about it, and that's going to be coming real soon. So, David, thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Face
Anytime.
face behind the rabbit.
Yeah.
You're outed, my friend.
What you can do with AI these days is just amazing, isn't it?
Exactly. So, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Me and David both appreciate it. And again, David Flor. Everybody, screenshot this face right now. You might as well get it while you can. So, this is Don and Dave, and we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight's video. And please hit the like and subscribe button, help grow the channel a little bit. Head on over to David's channel. I'm going to go ahead and add his channel to the description in the comments here. Like his content, subscribe to his content. And again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Tom.